Welcome to our live training session here at their LS Swap Nova. Now we're going to be learning how to calibrate and tune this vehicle using a Holley Dominator system. Let's jump into some details about our vehicle. Now it has a 6-liter LS Swap. It has aftermarket heads with a Texas Speed MS3 camshaft. That's a 238, 242 duration, 600 lift with a 112 LSA. Now in addition to all of this, we're going to find it has a Trailblazer SS intake manifold, a 90mm throttle body, a custom cold air intake, long tube headers, a custom exhaust, and on the fuel system side of things, we have decapped truck injectors that are going to be flowing about 70 pounds per hour. We have a custom fuel system using a Corvette fuel pressure regulator that's maintaining the pressure around 58 to 60 psi. We're going to be tuning this on 93 octane. Again, learning how to go about creating our base map, going through the entire calibration process, all the way from first startup to the cold start, everything in between. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump into our video here so we can learn how to create our base file to get our engine to fire up. Welcome to our live training session here at their LS Swap Nova running on a Holley Dominator system. Now we just went over all the details of the vehicle. Let's jump into our Holley software so we can create our base global file that we can upload to our Dominator box to get the engine fired up and running and start our live training process. So let's move into the software. I have that open on my laptop screen right now. We can see we have prompted with a couple different options of what we can do here. We see we have open global file, we have open data log, download from ECU, or create new global file. In this case, we want to open up a base global file that Holley provides that we can modify, and we can upload it to the Dominator to start our process off with. Now, if I wanted to connect and I had a good file in the Dominator ready for the vehicle, I could go here and just simply click download from ECU. Or alternatively, if I wanted to create a file from scratch and just go through every last step in detail, I could go down here to create new global file. Now, because this is an LS engine, we're going to have some reasonable base global files from Holley that we can use, so we're going to start with that first. Now, where I'm at in terms of the configuration here with the vehicle, I have my laptop open, I have the USB cable plugged into my laptop, plugged into the Dominator, but the ignition key off. We're going to be editing and modifying this file in the offline mode. Now, if I wanted to go and actually connect to the box, I could go here and click download from ECU, and I'd have to actually have the ignition key on. So we're in the offline mode. We're not in the online mode where we could establish an actual USB communications between the box and the laptop. So we're going to go here to our first option, open global file, which will allow us to open that file again and being able to modify that from that point. So go here to open global file. Now, we can see here custom cals, base cals. We find some other folders that are in our directory here. We're going to go to base cals. And in here, we find a whole bunch of different options. We see there's throttle body injection, the TBI, or multi-port fuel injection, MPI. Let's actually go back to home here. And if we move up into custom cals, there we can find we have our specific folders for specific makes. In this case, we have GM as our option here that we're working with. This is an LS-based engine, so we're going to go and select this option. Now we find here LS, big block, small block, and then there's an LT1 example. We're going to go to LS. And then in here, we have a bunch of different files and examples. Now, this is going to be a 6-liter engine. It's going to be automatic, but it's a manual valve body, older style transmission. It's not going to be a 4L80 or a 6L80 transmission. So it's not going to be controlled through the Dominator. So it's manual valve body. And we'll find this is cable-driven throttle body. So it is not drive-by-wire. So it's kind of thin out the tables that we have here that we can work with. So looking down our list, we find here that we have, there's a turbo option, which we don't want. Here's a stock 5.3 LSX, 4L60E transmission drive-by-wire. That could be something we could potentially use. Here's a stock 6-liter LS2 drive-by-wire. That's another one we could potentially use. Here's an LS1 4L80 cable throttle body. We could also use that one. Any of these could work. We want to avoid working with the turbo or supercharged options here because they're really not going to be that useful because this is naturally aspirated. So we kind of stick with something that's naturally aspirated. In this case, here's a 480 horsepower LS2. It doesn't say much of anything in the note section here. This is a 6-liter. Let's go with the 6-liter file because this is a 6-liter engine. This is an LS2 based type of file, but we'll find that drive-by-wire here is what they've tagged on. This is a cable-driven throttle body, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that we have accounted for that when we go in and create the base file. We'll have to delete the drive-by-wire out of the ICF configuration file. So we're going to go and start with this option. So we're just filtering out
what is going to be the best base file to work with. So let's go grab this option right here, click open. Now in here, we find at the top our different ICFs that are available within the file. We can see here we have our fuel ICF, we have our sensor ICF, we have our system ICF, idle ICF, spark ICF, and then finally here, drive-by-wire. Now, this is not drive-by-wire, this is cable. First thing we're going to do is get rid of our drive-by-wire ICF. We're going to delete it out of this global file because we're not working with that. So likewise, if we were starting off with a cable-driven base file, base global file, and we wanted to make sure it was accounting for the drive-by-wire, we would have to add this back in. In order to add or subtract an ICF, we're going to go up here into the top here. Let's go into our toolbox, and we can go here to remove individual config. So we're going to remove this. We're going to remove drive-by-wire. Click on this, and we can see that disappears from our global file. Now at this point, since we've made that update change, what I'm going to do is save this particular file in its own folder, unique folder for this project name, so that we can make sure that we're not saving on top of the original base file from that Holley global file directory. That way, if I want to use that file in the future for another engine, I'm not overwritten that file, and we can find that we can use that and start off with that original configuration from Holley. So let's go here to File. I'm going to go here to Save Global File As. And then in here, we can go into our directory. We can find this is going to put us into our subdirectories here. We're going to go back into the home directory. We can see there's base cals, custom cals. Here's an EPA 911 LS. There's EPA tutorials. These are from our training course. I'm going to go in here and create another subfolder in the home folder for the global files to find this particular project and the files associated with that. That way they're out of these base cal or custom cal folders. So I'm going to go in here and do a create new folder, and we can simply call this EPA, and I'll say Nova. I'll know what that is. And then you can name whatever your particular project would be. You name that in your folder, give it a custom name. And in this case, we can see here, this is the file that Holley has named for the actual file. I'm going to go and change the name of this, and I'm just going to call this base cal. Just so this is my base map that I'm creating here, and I'll click Save. So now any subsequent changes and things that we...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.